You know, we saw a lot of these earlier. This is coming a little later. And there's some strategy involved in that. My guess is that Aiden likes to finish with those dives because they're ones that he does very well. So that was a good dive. Nice aggressive start. Lovely feet and toes. And clean going in the water. Wow.
It's a 72.
72 even. James 4-5C 2.7 from 7 meters.
So James did, you know, has got a little easier degree of difficulty, a little lower degree of difficulty total. But you know what? He had to go through the prelims like everybody else and execute and do his dives to his best of his ability, and got in the final and going to score some points for his team. Again, a nice solid dive, and James must have very large hands and wide, because he gets that sound on everything, regardless of if he's vertical or not. He gets really good sound. Well trained.
59.4 is his score. Shelton will be up next.
And Bryce is doing a back 2.5 somersaults with 1.5 twist pike up there. So you'll see him do basically a back 1.5 somersaults with 1.5 twists, and then do an extra somersault in the pike position out of it. And again, he's moving right along. He's doing a good job, being consistent. We've had some freshmen decide that, you know, hey, these finals are no big deal. I can get up and dive at that time.
72 is his score.
Total of 72 even. Ladies and gentlemen, we kindly remind you that flash photography of any kind is strictly prohibited during competition. We do appreciate your cooperation. Dylan, 207C, 3.3 from 10 meters.
Dylan doing a back 3.5 somersault tuck here.
Grissel from Florida State, a senior from Ontario, Toronto specifically.
You may notice even from this angle that he's all the way over on the corner of the platform. My guess is that Dylan probably does synchro and his other partner is on the opposite side. So it's not unusual for divers to do that, even during their individual contests, to kind of go to that same spot that they do when they dive synchronized with another diver. That was a good start and takeoff. Unfortunately, again, gotta see your spots and get out just a little earlier so it doesn't go over. But I love the start and connection, and he's tight. Just pulled a little.
54.45 is his score.
So Thomas from Virginia Tech is going to do a reverse 3.5 somersaults tuck. We've seen some reverse 2.5 tuck, and you're going to see the reverse 3.5 tuck. So he's going to do a whole extra somersault, facing forward and rotating back towards the platform again.
Oh.
You know, that's sometimes the difficulty is you got to get all the way around, but you got to make sure you create enough distance from the platform first so it's safe. But then you got to be patient and put your legs up a little higher.
40.8 for Schinholzer there. Silva will be up next.
And Morrow's doing inward 3.5 somersaults tuck. So again, facing backwards but rotating in toward the platform in the tuck position. So you want to see nice, small, compact tuck. And pretty good. I thought he came out a little funky. You know, there was a little extra movement in there, and it was a bit distracting. And you know, that's my personal opinion. I don't know if the judges agree with me or not, but I thought there was a little different movement as he came out. He kind of came out straight line, and feet weren't all the way together.
I think they did agree with you. 62.4 is his score. Here's Giordano now.
So Dominic is going to do a back arm stand double somersault with 1.5 twists. We saw Dinsmore do it with 2.5 twists earlier. So a little higher degree of difficulty than the half twist.
3.2.
Got some different options. 3.2 there compared to the 3.6, but you got to do it well and execute. How'd you like to go that way off the platform?
No. I don't think I'd like to go off anyway.
And what you're going to see there from Dominic is he does a nice job of pressing up in his handstand. I'm not sure if he got all the way to a vertical line, but I liked that it was moving, and then it was just off axis at the end, and so it was over twisted a little bit and not a very good finish. But
yeah, that's his worst dive, 35.20.
And you can see from the replay there, he wasn't all the way at vertical. He went up to vertical before he went, but then he missed the entry and left it short.
Our leader.
So you're
start to finish.
Yeah, so you're going to see David here do reverse 3.5 somersaults tuck. We saw Thomas Schinholzer do that just a couple dives ago, so let's see what happens.
He is way out in front in terms of the competition.
Well, I think he's going to stay there.
Yeah, he hasn't missed.
Yeah, you know, and this is one of the things that I really appreciate about David is, you know, he's when he gets in and he gets in clean, it's great. You know, he's getting a 10 there.
Wow.
You know, this is why we were fortunate. You know, we had a gold medalist in London and with David Badaya.
Yeah.
And we had Steele Johnson and David Badaya win a medal in Rio, and then, you know, David, who won a medal at the World Cup at the Olympic test event but didn't make the team. So, you know, the future platform looks good here in the U.S. So starting the final round here, Aiden with an inward 3.5 somersaults tuck at 3.2 degree of difficulty.
Faminoff's entry.
And that's a good dive. The one thing it was missing is what we've seen from him to this point was those solid entries with the good feet and good hands.
6, 6.5, 5.5, 6, 5.5, 6, 6.5. Total board 57.6.
57.6 is Faminoff's score. It's really coming down to a battle for second place in this competition. Here's Brady.
See Brady with his highest degree of difficulty a dive of the contest. It's a back arm stand double somersault with 1.5 twist. Again, in the free position, which means that they're going to use a combination of other positions. So we'll be straight for part of the dive, and then it'll be biked at the waist for part of the dive. And that's why that's defined on a lot of those twisting dives. You know, and unfortunately for James, he never quite got all the way up in his handstand, and that makes that really difficult. He's there, and as he goes, he needs more kip off the platform, and then he's got to dig down deeper to get to vertical.
This is the final round.
So Bryce, and this is for me an interesting strategy is finishing with the arm stand dive. It's just, you know, a 2.4 degree of difficulty. And probably based on that, that's part of the challenge there for him, is his handstand was not very controlled and balanced. It was a little moving through there, and that's why you're going to see some scores down lower. You know, had he held the handstand and showed more control, probably would have been a pretty good dive, but still a good effort from him from start to finish.
Purcell, the fourth diver in the final round.
You know, he's finishing with that back 2.5 somersaults with 1.5 twists, and it's a popular dive for people to finish with these back twisters. It's a forward-facing entry into the water, so you can see the water coming. And again, a lot of moving parts there. So the somersault, the twisting, coming out and getting it down, but he's got good sound on the entry. It's tight, it's got good position, it's going to score well.
76.8 is his score.
Thomas, 52-53.
You know, nice job by the senior. You know, that's a lot of time and energy that he's been up there, I'm sure. I bet his coach John Proctor will be happy with that as well. This is Thomas doing the same dive back at 2 1/2 somersaults with 1.5 twists from Virginia Tech.
Like that?
I did like that. Now, it's interesting from the camera view we saw there, you know, you're looking at it from head on, you're going to watch him go sideways a little bit, but from the side, you may not see that quite as much. And you got to judge what you see. And you see some small form breaks. The knees are a little bent, but good. So you got kind of the 6.5 to 8 range, but mostly 7.5s that kept. Here we
Silva.
Yep, Morrow doing forward 3.5 somersault spike, so a dive that a lot of people started with.
It's interesting. Silva went with that dive, a 3.0 level of difficulty.
Yeah, so a little lower degree of difficulty compared to some of the others we'd seen in that last round, but solid dive. Again, I didn't really think that the finish where he was very tight, he seems to have a little bit of arch in his lower back, and that makes it hard to go in the water with that good rip entry and clean sound. So we've seen a lot of somersaulting and twisting dives. You're going to see one that's got 1.5 somersaults, so a little less, but more twists, 3.5 twists. And I think these have kind of made a comeback in the last few years as the degree of difficulty's been adjusted some, but can be done very pretty.
He needs a good dive to end the competition.
Yeah. And that was what you asked for. You know, you want to see that go up, and like I said, I think that's very aesthetically pleasing. His twisting action is great. His body position is nice and tight, and he's going to end up with good scores in the very good category, which is what the judges thought too. It looked like.
David, 52-55,
and I'm sure Julian will be happy with that for him. So we got David finishing up his contest. Now you're going to see him do a back 2.5 somersaults with 2 1/2 twists free with a 3.6 degree of difficulty. So again, got some variability in the choices of the dives.
Dinsmore is going to become the champion. So he's still in the lead even before this dive. Now what a competition.
And he's going to get rewarded for that. It's, I think, going to score over 100 points. It was very nice. 102.60.
Wow. And highest score we've seen.
And like I said, you know, David's pretty emotional kid and can step up in those situations. And